Alright YouTube, today I'm going to make a slide hammer. Why? I don't want to go out and spend hundreds of dollars on a premium slide hammer, nor do I want to go out and spend $60, $70, $100 on a cheap slide hammer. $10, $20 worth of steel, and I'm going to make my own. First thing I did is found out the thread on a regular slide hammer. Ordinary slide hammer, 5/8 18. And I got this smooth rod at the junk bin at the local steel place. Not a perfect piece, but this is the part where the actual slide part is going to go. I just welded them together. Now it would have been better to just do this, because in hindsight now I have to make this, I have to put a T up here or something that can stop this from sliding, and I'm not going to be able to thread a nut or anything onto the top of that because number one, I think it's the wrong diameter, but number two, I don't have the die, so I won't be able to 5/8 18 thread this top, although I might do that later. But for now, I'm probably going to weld a T on here, and then I'm going to make a hole in my handle that's going to be the right thickness to just barely go over that pipe. And then when I'm using it, I'll just go up to here and it'll hit because it'll just be the perfect diameter. This is a piece that I found. The guys at the metal supermarkets were pretty nice to me about that. This is another scrap piece. It's too light, but it is essentially will do the task. And then I have this. I thought this was really cool. This hexagonal piece I found in the scrap bin, and I thought, man, that would be a perfect lightweight one for like a dent puller, or put a little hook end on this thing and pull seals. I could pull seals with something smaller and lighter. So now I got a drill. I don't know if this is the right drill size. Pretty darn close. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a permanent handle that goes on here, but I'm going to set it up where I can take that off later. I'll grind that off later and put threads, and then I'll be able to remove the top and change out the handle for a lighter handle. This is going to be cut. Then I'll be able to use this to make it longer or shorter to my needs. I'll probably just have like that much threads on it, and then I'll attach this to that if I want to make it longer. This right here is the moment of truth, YouTube. Yeah! I could have this end hooked up over here and have a much more manageable piece, but I needed the extra space to work on this vehicle. I can make any end I want for this thing just using plates, threads, nuts, taps, and things of that nature, and I can just pull out. That thing came out a lot easier than the previous time that I did the job, in which I rented an actual slide hammer from the store, and I don't know what was the difference, but This is really a great tool. This is going to go down in the Hall of Fame. Easy Eddie's Hall of Fame of automotive tools right here. Homemade automotive tools. Unbelievable. You can't buy that for 20 bucks. I'll guarantee it. I don't care where you go. This thing is a beast. And you can thread. Oh, it's just loose where the threads go into this. This weld might need a little fixing, but right now it seems to be holding very well. That just worked so easy, I don't even know what to say. Did you see how few strokes that was? It was whack, whack, whack. It's out. I mean, unbelievable. Wow. I paid $10 for this threaded rod at the local the good hardware store in town here. I had some angle iron I cut. I bought the nuts, which were the right size for this, and I attached them in 2 different places on this, which I shouldn't have done because I blocked out the place that the flat for this part. So really this nut is peripheral at this point. But I could drill holes in this thing and make it into a puller too. So I got some extra nuts, but I can buy actual puller parts. You know, 5/8 18 thread is commonly used. I looked at the puller at O'Reilly's and they had 5/8 18 thread. So the attachments that you would use would thread onto that, and most likely they would be universal with all the slide hammer attachments. So now if I really wanted to, I could just buy a slide hammer attachment and it would go on here. But I can thread this off and just put another end. I can make any end I want for this thing, you know, and it'll thread here or it'll thread here, or I can even cut different lengths. And I'm gonna have to think of some ways to modify this. You could put a beefier piece of pipe on here. This is, I don't know, this is not very heavy. This is probably like 4 or 5 pounds maybe. If you had like a good 20 pounds on there, man, you could really rip something out. The original one was very hard to get out. This is the replacement that I just pulled out. The replacement axle was replaced like 2-3 years ago, I guess, 3 years ago. And so it's not that old, not that rusty, and it came out a little easier than I expected. But, you know, again, the extra length, I mean, look at that, you're way in there, right? So imagine if I was trying to slide this thing and I was like hitting this shock right here. So that extra length is a great, useful thing.